Every 4 years, the whole world stops for football. Billions of people watching the same game at the same time. And FIFA, the organization that runs the World Cup, officially confirmed that football did not start in England in 1863. It started in China, 3,000 years ago. And the ancient rules of that game will make you look at every match you have ever watched completely differently. Think about the last time you watched a football match. The crowd, the noise, the moment a goal goes in, that feeling in your chest. That is not a modern feeling. That feeling is 3,000 years old. Ancient Chinese soldiers felt it. Ancient Greek athletes felt it. Ancient Roman crowds felt it. Every civilization that ever existed on this earth played some version of the game you are watching today. And the story of how that game traveled across 3,000 years to reach a World Cup stadium is one of the most extraordinary stories never told. The original game was called Cuju. It means kick the ball in Chinese. It was played in China during the Han Dynasty around 200 BC. That is over 2,200 years ago. And FIFA, the official governing body of world football, officially recognized Cuju as the earliest form of football in 2004. This is not a theory. This is the official position of the organization that runs the World Cup. So, how did they play it? Two teams on a field. A ball made of leather stuffed with feathers and hair. And a goal. Not two posts with a net, but one single hole in a silk net stretched between two bamboo poles 30 feet in the air. Players had to kick the ball through that hole using only their feet. No hands allowed. Sound familiar? The Chinese were playing football with no hands 2,000 years before England wrote down the rules, but Cuju was not just a game. In ancient China, it was a military training tool. The Han Dynasty emperor used it to keep his soldiers fit and sharp during peacetime. Records show that professional Cuju players existed as early as 50 BC. People who were paid to play football. Professional footballers. 2,000 years ago, there were Cuju stadiums in major Chinese cities. There were crowds who came to watch. There were famous players whose names were written down and remembered. One text from the Han Dynasty describes a match in detail. The crowd cheering, the skill of the players, the tension of the game. Reading it feels like reading a modern match report, because the emotions were identical. And here is something that will genuinely stop you. Ancient Chinese texts describe Cuju players doing tricks, juggling the ball, keeping it in the air with their feet, knees, and shoulders. Skills that professional footballers spend years learning today were being performed for crowds in China 2,000 years ago. But China was not alone. And this is where it gets extraordinary. While China was playing Cuju on the other side of the world, completely separately, other civilizations were doing the same thing. Ancient Greeks played a game called Episkyros. Two teams, a ball, kicking and throwing. It was played at the original Olympic Games. Ancient Romans took the Greek game and turned it into Harpastum, a brutal, fast game played by Roman soldiers across the entire empire, from Italy to Britain to North Africa. And the Mayans in Central America were playing a ball game called Pok-a-Tok, with a rubber ball 3,000 years ago. The Mayans were using rubber balls centuries before the rest of the world even knew rubber existed. Every single one of these civilizations developed a ball game independently, without knowing the others existed, which means football is not a British invention. Football is a human instinct, something so deep in who we are that every civilization on Earth independently invented it, separated by oceans and thousands of miles, and they all arrived at the same game. But here is the twist that changes everything. When England wrote down the official rules of football in 1863, they genuinely believed they had invented the game. They had no idea about Cuju. No idea about Episkyros. No idea about Pok-a-Tok. They thought kicking a ball into a goal was their idea, and for over 100 years, the world believed them. Football was marketed as a British invention that spread to the world, and it was not until researchers started digging into ancient Chinese military records in the 20th century that the truth started coming out. In 2004, FIFA president Sepp Blatter flew to China, stood in the city of Zibo, where Cuju was first recorded, and officially declared it the birthplace of football. The birthplace of the game that 4 billion people watch today is not London. It is a city in China that most football fans have never heard of. And the soldiers who played the very first version of your favorite game have been forgotten for 2,000 years. The next time you watch a World Cup match, think about this. The roar of the crowd you are hearing is the same roar that echoed in ancient Chinese stadiums 2,000 years ago. The skill of the players you are watching is the same skill that Han Dynasty soldiers practiced in military training fields. The feeling in your chest when a goal goes in is the same feeling a Chinese farmer felt watching Cuju in 200 BC. Football did not start in 1863. Football started the moment the first human being kicked something round and watched it fly. And every civilization that ever existed on this earth had that same moment. Because it is not a sport. It is something older than that. It is the most human thing we have ever done together. If you think that's strange, wait until you hear this. There is a 5,000-year-old stone structure older than the pyramids that nobody can explain. Archaeologists discovered massive T-shaped stone pillars covered in mysterious animal carvings, built by people who supposedly didn't even have metal tools or agriculture. Who built it? Why was it made? And how did ancient humans create something so advanced thousands of years before the world's great civilizations existed? Watch this next.